Hello, everyone. Tawnya Kordenbrock here. I am a licensed professional clinical counselor in the state of Kentucky and the person behind a renewedlife.com/blog. I have a private online community where I am working with a group of women to learn how to manage their emotions, to love themselves, have more fulfilling relationships, and be able to walk in all that God has called them to. Today, I want to talk to you about how to become a person who doesn't worry all the time. Knows how to stop worry. And we've talked about this and we've looked at it in the past, my past two videos. We have looked at how you're using scripture to stop worry is not working for you, and then why it is that you worry so much. So today we're going to get very practical in looking at what you can do to stop worrying. And first of all, I want to just share, I had something happen to me just this morning that I was worrying about something. And the thoughts just kept coming, racing through my mind over and over and over. I was concerned about something I had said to someone and was just imagining in my head how they're going to be upset with me and they're not going to like me anymore and whatever. You know how those thoughts go on and on in your head, and they don't ever turn out good, do they? We don't imagine good scenarios. So I want to share with you steps that you can take, and those are going to include what I did just today to help myself to get unstuck from worrying. So first of all, I want to encourage you to, with this first step is to have some compassion for yourself. It's almost like giving yourself a hug. And I know that sounds kind of weird. Like if you're worrying, then, you just want to stop it. You want to ignore it. And that's what we tend to do is just tell ourselves, just quit it. Just don't do that. Quit thinking these thoughts. And gosh, it'd be so nice if we could do that, right? I wish that worked, but it doesn't. And if you think about it, what if someone else had said that to you? And probably that's happened to you before. If you tend to worry a lot, that somebody else has just told you, well, just don't worry about it. And it was kind of like that. Like, why didn't I think of that, right? No. You feel like they really don't care. They don't care about how you're feeling. And on the other end of the spectrum, if someone just says, oh, darn, I feel bad for you that you're so worried about this. What's going on for you? And just sit and listen to you for a moment and you're able to talk it through. Then usually you can find that, okay, I've kind of worked this out, what I need to do with this, or I feel much better. And so being able to, just get some empathy from someone can be so helpful. But you can do that for yourself. You can have that compassion for yourself. And a way that you can do that is just say, okay, it makes sense. It makes sense that you would be concerned about this. And that's what I had to do for myself this morning. Instead of pushing the emotions down that I was feeling and ignoring them, what I did instead was to just look at, okay, how does this make sense? Why is this important? What's going on? And I had to realize, okay, it's important to me, this relationship with this other person. It's a relationship that I'm hoping will grow and will become significant in my life. And I don't want it to get sabotaged in the beginning of this relationship and to end, right? And that's important. It really is important. And so you can do the same thing for yourself. If you are worried, say, about your child and what is going on in their life, you can say to yourself, of course you would be worried because you're concerned. You're concerned about the choices that they are making or the situation that they are in and the impact that it is going to have on them. And, this may seem very foreign to you and maybe even scary. You may be kind of just pushing back right now and just saying, you know what? I am not going to acknowledge my emotions when I'm worrying. And because, they'll just get out of control. Or I will just sink down into those emotions and not be able to get out. And that is very common feeling, that belief that people have. And so that's understandable, especially if you have come from a childhood where someone kind of did, an adult, a parent seemed to sink down into their emotions, or it appeared as though their emotions kind of took over and that they had no control over them. And then as a child, it made sense to figure out that the emotions were the problem. And so the solution then is to ignore your emotions. And because as a child, you could not figure out, you couldn't blame your parent. Like, why aren't you taking care of your emotions? Why aren't you doing something different here? But instead, you put the blame on the emotions themselves. And people will confirm or kind of reinforce that within us also. And by saying to us, you need to quit feeling the way you're feeling, and somehow make you feel like the way that you're feeling, that there's something wrong with you for even having feelings. You're being selfish, you're being self-centered, you're being immature, you just need to trust God. So implying, well, you're not a good Christian, not a strong Christian. And so it kind of just can go against the grain for us to have any compassion for ourselves, for the emotions that we're having. But what it does is it calms the emotion down. And you'll be able to, you'll be able to notice this after you tell yourself, well, of course, it makes sense that you would be concerned because this person is important to you. And it will immediately, almost always, just, it doesn't get rid of the worry, but it just kind of brings it down just a little bit for you and can bring it into the range where it can be manageable then. But you don't want to stop there. There are some other things that you want to do. And so you want to notice what else is going on with you. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to slow down this whole process because you have a pattern of how you respond when you're concerned about certain situations. And for myself, I know what happens is I will have some self-talk that is not very edifying. It kind of beats me up and, negative about what the other person is going to think of me. And so you'll want to do that, and you want to slow down and notice, like, what am I telling myself right now? But don't stop there. That's where we tend to stop. We tend to think, okay, we'll just quit telling yourself that, right? That's the solution. But no, it doesn't work that way. And you have most likely found that out, that just telling yourself to stop saying whatever it is you're saying to yourself does not make that whole process go away, does not, change the pattern. So we want to change this whole pattern of what happens to you. There's more that happens to you than just telling yourself negative things or fearful thoughts. So not only do you notice, you want to slow down and notice what it is that you're telling yourself, but you also want to connect that with, okay, what are the emotions I'm feeling right now? Here's what I'm feeling. I'm telling myself this, and here's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling fearful. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling concerned. And identify that emotion. And then go on from there and pay attention to your body about where that emotion is kind of impacting your body. For me this morning, I felt some tightness in my shoulders and in my neck. I felt kind of a sick feeling in my stomach. And so if I hadn't slowed down and noticed that, then that just totally would have passed by, and I would not have been able to address that. But then also think about, okay, so I'm telling myself this is what I'm feeling, this is how I'm experiencing this in my body, and then this is how I'm responding. And so for myself, I had to look at, I'm responding by having imaginary conversations with this person in my head. Does that help? No. But also, I'm responding by trying to going over and over and over, trying to figure out solutions in my head. I'm responding by holding my breath. And that's one thing I want you to pay attention to, is your breathing. What's going on with your breathing? Are you holding your breath? Is your heart rate increasing? Are you breathing harder? What happens with your posture? Connect all of that, your thoughts and your emotions, with your body. How is your body responding? Are you kind of just getting all tightened up? And that's what I tend to do, is I tighten up when I'm worrying. Are you tightening up, or are you slouching? Are you kind of closing in on yourself, like a feeling of hopelessness? So pay attention to that. And now I want to talk to you about why it's important to notice this. And the reason why it's important is because when you are worrying, that's the emotional part of your brain kicking in with some fear or some anxiety. And so there's a whole pattern, like I said before, there's a whole pattern of how you respond to anxiousness or to being fearful. And so that's going to kick in, and that emotional part of your brain kicks in automatic thoughts that just come instantaneously, and will rapid fire. Those thoughts will come. And then that emotional part of your brain, there are nerve networks that also go down into your body. So all of that is connected, and just addressing your thoughts are not going to change this pattern. They're not going to make you into a person who responds to stress differently, or who responds to worrisome or concerning situations differently. And so in order to change, you have to address all of that. So noticing it is the first place to start. But then also, you want to change this pattern. You're going to have to start doing some opposite behaviors. And so if you can't change it if you're not noticing it, right? So looking at your thoughts, you're going to change, what I had to do this morning was, instead of, the thought that I was telling myself that was coming to me was that this person is upset with me. Well, guess what? I'm not a mind reader. I have no idea if this person is upset with me or not. They could be just totally going on with their day and not giving it a thought at all. And there were a couple other things thoughts that went along with that. I had to notice, that sick feeling that was going on in my stomach, the tightness in my shoulders. So what I did was I relaxed my shoulders and my neck. And I just became aware of the presence of the Lord, and allowed His love just to kind of come into my belly, into that sick feeling, and just to feel that acceptance from Him and that love from Him within my body. And so I'm connecting my emotion and my thoughts with my body, and feeling that with love instead of being in a place of fear. And then also, let's see, let me think of my body and what I was feeling, how I was responding. I was thinking of solutions. That's how I was responding. I know I wasn't breathing well, and so I calmed my breathing. And then in trying to think of solutions, what I did was I purposefully, just willfully said, Lord, I am not going to solve this. That is a pattern for me of when I see something that makes me anxious, I feel like I have to jump in and I have to solve it. And so what I did was I said, Lord, I am not going to try to solve this situation. And I'm going to pray that you will you know, if there's an offense, that you will work in this other person's heart. And then when I see this person next time, which I'll see them soon, then I can check and say, hey, you know, were you offended by that? Or, you know, I had this crazy thought in my head that you were all upset about that, and find out. And so that's what I had to do with addressing, not only with my worry, not only my thoughts, and I wasn't pushing my thoughts away, but I was addressing them, and I was connecting all that with my emotion, with the impact it was having in my body, and how I was responding out of that. Now, if I continue to do that, and I've been working on that for a few years now, and if you continue doing this, this is going to change how you respond. It's going to make you into a different person, a person who doesn't get caught up in worry. And even if a worry, you know, you start into it, then you can switch out of it much more quickly if you are practicing what I'm telling you about today. I think that is it for today. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments, and I will answer them for you. I'm so glad you joined me today. And I see that I have Margie here with me. Hello, Margie. Haven't seen you for a while. And please, if this has been helpful for you, if you didn't catch it all, go back and watch it. But if it's been helpful, please do me a favor and share it with others. And I'm not even going to offer anything today, because I don't want you getting sidetracked into getting any. I mean, you're welcome to go on my website and get my free offers. But what I want you to do today is go back and watch. After you've watched all of this, go back and watch the other 2 videos that I've done so far. And those are on why you worry so much, and also how scripture is not helping you. And it's not because of the power of scripture, but it's how you are using it, that it's not helping you to stop worrying. And next time, on my next video, I am going to specifically talk about how to use scripture in order to stop worrying. And it's going to use all that we've talked about so far, and it's going to bring all of that together into how you can use scripture in that way. So again, share this and give me some likes here if it was helpful. Also, subscribe or like my page so you can be notified when I have more videos. Hope you have a great day. Bye.